Welcome back to the Nook. I'm Daniel, and today I'll be reviewing Gone with the Wind by Margaret Mitchell. This is a very large classic. It was written, I believe, in 1936, and I won't read to you the back description just because it doesn't really say much about what the book's about. I'll have to explain that myself. So, for some history with this story, I had never read the book. I didn't own it. I had watched the movie when I was a teenager with my mom. And one day, my dad came back from vacation and he had the book, Gone with the Wind, and he was reading it. And he knows I like classics, so he asked if I wanted to read it as well when he's done with it. So I'd never read the book, it's quite big, like I said. And he read it and quite enjoyed it, so I decided to read it. So this takes place during the time of the Civil War in the 1800s, and we follow Scarlett O'Hara, who's this young lady who is one of my least favorite characters in the beginning because she is very selfish. So she's all interested in different guys and she's in romance, but she kind of flirts with people. She's very beautiful. And she ends up meeting Rhett Butler, who's a man that's a good deal older than her. And she doesn't like him at first, but they develop a relationship that kind of continues throughout the story. And he's the only one who could really talk her down because she's very full of herself and telling people what to do. But Rhett Butler is definitely a good match for her. And one of the things I found annoying about her is she was obsessed with this young man she was in love with named Ashley, or she thinks she's in love with him. And when she finds out that Ashley is actually going to marry a girl named Melanie, Scarlett's first thought is, oh, well, she's not as pretty as I am. He couldn't possibly want her. Like, you just see her selfishness and how terrible she is. So this follows what happens in the Civil War, and Rhett goes off to war, and others do as well, and Ashley gets injured. And you kind of get to see what happens there, and you see the effects after the Civil War. Also, there's a lot of slavery of black people in this book because I think back in the day that was more prevalent. So just a warning, if you're offended by this, there is the N-word. The N slur is used quite a bit in this book, but at the time it was more accepted, weirdly. So there is quite a bit with the slavery and the servants. Altogether, this is a very good book. So throughout the entire story, I didn't like Scarlett. I think I was okay with Rhett, but he's kind of weird too. Rhett kind of has some issues as well. But Scarlett especially I didn't like, and it mainly follows her and her friends. But at the very end of the story, I don't want to spoil anything, but the very end of the story, she basically goes through an arc in her life where all of a sudden I thought she was a better character than she was. She goes through some suffering and some different things, but I found that Scarlett became a better character for me at the very, very end.